Unleash is the world's fastest growing feature management solution. So we help engineering and development teams ship features that their customers need a lot faster. We do that by enabling them with a technology called a feature flag. And we target mainly VPs and directors of engineering, platform architects, and a variety of DevOps and engineering roles. Yeah, so as VP of Marketing at Unleash, I'm responsible for pipeline generation, which means identifying and booking meetings with the right personas within our ICP, our ideal customer profile. So we do that through a lot of inbound activities where we kind of encourage hand raisers, and then we supplement that with outbound activities through our SDR team. So prior to using Reo.Dev, we were mainly focused on our outbound efforts on firmographic and technographic information. So, we know that our ICP account is a large enterprise. We know that, they are using certain technologies, containers and Kubernetes being, one example. They have, X number of employees and X number of engineers. So a variety of firmographic and technographic indicators. So we would use a variety of tooling to identify accounts that meet those criteria. And then we would use title searches and keyword searches to identify individuals in those accounts that we thought had the best probability of being a fit. The pain point associated with that process is that when you go after large enterprises, there might be 1,000 people within an organization that are a software engineer using technologies like containers and Kubernetes, CI/CD, et cetera. And so it's really a needle in the haystack. And we were looking for more first-party data that would help us narrow down that group of individuals into something manageable, say 5 to 10 people that have absolutely the best chances of leveraging a solution like Unleash. We can identify prospects and accounts, but the chances of them being a bullseye are lower because we're not bringing in first-party data about people that are actually using our open source software and using our documentation. By bringing in that first-party data, using Reo.Dev, we can, for the same number of emails sent or the same number of phone calls dialed, our connect rates are higher. As a company that sells to developers, we were really drawn to the fact that Reo can give us insights into who is using our open source software via documentation views. We also were really drawn that we could monitor GitHub repos, both for our own repos as well as competitor repos. And then the third piece was just the usability of the UI. I've used many kind of community management tools in the past, and I've found that Reo is just much easier to use and intuitive for an SDR team. It's really about who are the people that I should be having a conversation with. Make it really easy for me to find them and make it really easy for me to connect with them in a highly relevant way. And Reo really excels at that. Reo has really contributed to our confidence that the strategy that we have is the right one. So we have a very focused view of our ICP. We know the people that we want to have conversations with, but like I said, it's the needle in a haystack. With Reo and the first-party data that we bring to the table from our large open source community, we're much easier able to, my team has limited time during the day, right? We have to make hard choices about who do we try to reach out to and who do we just leave on the table. And Reo enables us to make better choices about who do we focus on today, to maximize our chances of connecting. I remember one anecdote. This was just a couple of weeks ago. We logged into Reo.Dev. We looked at we've uploaded a list of our ICP accounts that we monitor on a regular basis, and we noticed that one of them was spiking in activity. My SDR sent 2 emails to 2 people that were identified by Reo. They got back to us instantly, booked a meeting, and now we have an opportunity with that company about upgrading from OSS to enterprise. It literally was 1 email. And we would not have identified that customer, even though without Reo. They were in our ICP, so we were tracking them, but we didn't know that, this Tuesday is the day that we need to reach out to them. The only way we knew that was with Reo. So it's that, I would say it's the last 5 to 10 yards of your ABM program is what Reo provides, right? You still need to know what your ICP looks like, what titles, what the message is. But when it comes down to, okay, who do I email this morning when I sit down at my desk? That's what Reo gives us. Since we implemented Reo, we've had consecutive months of overachievement on our pipeline goals. And I don't believe that we would have achieved at that level had we not implemented Reo. Because again, I know the accounts that we want to reach out to. I know the titles, but there are just too many people. So I need some filter to help me prioritize, and get the ROI on the time investment that we're putting in. And Reo is the biggest way in which we prioritize. Given 2 accounts that look identical firmographically and technographically, we're going to go after the one that's showing a surge in activity in Reo. And that's not something that I can get from LinkedIn Sales Navigator or other ABM tools. I really need that first party data. And Reo is the way that we get it. I love the activity view and the timeline view. So we're really interested in kind of when is a company starting to evaluate our open source seriously. And so we can see that within Reo as a timeline view. I also love the surge account feature, where we have probably 1,000 ICP accounts that we track, and that's a lot to keep track of. Each individual SDR might have 150 accounts, and so any particular day you're looking at, if I've got 100 contacts, and these are all large enterprises, if I have 100 contacts that I could go after at any of these 150 accounts, right, is just too many to think about how do I prioritize that. So with something like a surge account within Reo, we can say, okay, I hadn't been going after Coca-Cola, but I see that there's a surge in activity. I see that they've been on our documentation. They're reviewing our install guides, right? Today, I'm going to go after Coca-Cola, try to book a meeting. So that's one of my favorite features that we're using currently, and it's just become part and parcel of our daily workflow. The SDRs are logging into Reo every morning when they get in, using it to prioritize their activity for the day and for the week. If Reo was offline for whatever reason, and it never is, so you're very reliable. But if it were, my Slack would be blowing up with why I can't log into Reo, what's going on. I look at it daily, and I know our SDRs do as well. Without Reo, it's like a needle in a haystack. Finding the right prospect is like finding a needle in a haystack. parameter, I would unequivocally recommend Reo.